One of the major attractions for the island of St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands is the fact that it's mostly protected by the National Park Service. Because of this protection, 2/3 of the island's landscape is an untouched bounty of natural beauty, with thick, lush vegetation. But equally as attractive and intriguing are the waters that surround the island. In fact, St. John has some of the best beaches in the Caribbean, to include Trunk Bay, one of the top 10 beaches in the world.
St. John, in terms of sandy beaches, probably has close to 20-25 beaches that you would consider are nice and sandy.
And if things look this good on the surface, just imagine the scenery below.
That's why today I decided to strap on that scuba gear once again and explore the wonderful world under the water. Today we'll be joined by some of the staff at Low Key Water Sports who are going to take us on an amazing adventure. So let's not waste any time, let's hop on board and go diving.
Well, not so fast.
So before I go in the water, I have to watch about a 10-20 minute video and go over a few instructions. But you gotta do that safety first.
I'm not a certified diver, and what we are going to do today is simply a Discover scuba dive. So this training video is absolutely important.
So the 3 things that can happen in the sea: lung overexpansion, drowning, or air problems. They put the least problematic one last, but you know.
The video is about 10 to 15 minutes long. Hey, I remember some of these hand signals.
Alrighty, hand signals, talking underwater. Okay, this is a question and an answer. Anytime I look at you, I'm asking, are you okay?
Okay, back to the present. I have to focus and remember these signals.
Go up. Up. Go down. Ear problem.
Okay.
Check your
Okay.
modern
Thumbs
life
up,
here
thumbs
adapts to the
down.
underwater world.
Wait, go up, go down.
Your PADI instructor will
Okay.
help you
No,
select
bad.
fit quickly
Your
to
problem.
suit your experience.
Come here.
The skin
Stop.
with overview.
Okay, I think I'll be okay.
Now I'm ready for the boat.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm Janeisha.
Forrest, good
Morning,
to meet you.
Jeremy King, nice
Nice
to meet you.
you
You excited?
guys. Yes, very excited. So what are we going to experience today?
Oh, we're gonna go do some diving. You know where we're gonna dive?
It's a beautiful day. We're gonna head out just south of St. Thomas to Cow Rock, and then we're gonna maybe head over to Little St. James, the privately owned island,
Okay.
in between St. John and St. Thomas, and then we'll see where it takes us from there.
Wow, let's go then.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Again, today we'll be diving in the area known as Little St. James. It's a private island about 3.5 miles southwest of Cruz Bay. The boat ride takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get there. It's a beautiful day for diving. The water is calm and the weather is fantastic. With me are Jeremy, Forrest, and Steve, and of course, my camera crew. Jeremy and Forrest both work for Low Key Water Sports, a local dive shop on St. John. Steve does a lot of underwater video work for Low Key. Oh yeah, he's also an excellent diver and knows this area very well.
Here we are at Cow Rock, and these 2 rocks out here got their name because from the shore it looks like a cow and a calf whale coming up and going down. The 2 rocks look like the backs of the whales. Okay. Some people also say they're named cow and calf because you would never go in between the cow and the calf, the mother and the daughter, because that would be dangerous. And here it's shallow, so if you went between the two rocks, you could hit the bottom. In fact, when President Clinton was here years ago, two of his Secret Service guys, they were in a go-fast boat, and they were patrolling the shores of St. Thomas at night, and they actually hit the rocks, and they both were killed, and the boat sank. Yeah, and not many people know that story, but that's a true story. Yeah, and the remains of the boat are still down here.
According to reports, the incident did happen. While on patrol as part of President Bill Clinton's protection detail, a criminal investigator for the U.S. Customs Office and 2 others were severely injured in the crash. The criminal investigator died days later as a result of the crash.
Now a little bit about what we're going to actually do and how we're going to get in the water and everything. What we'll ask you to do is sit in front of your equipment, and with your equipment right behind you, go ahead and put your fins on, put your weight belt on, maybe even weight belt first, it's more comfortable, then put your fins on, and then we'll help you to slip into the jacket. We'll also lift up from the tank when you're ready to stand up to make it a little easier to stand up, and then just walk to the very back of the boat, shuffle your feet, very small, and don't take big steps like ducks walk, we don't want you to trip and fall, so just keep yourself safe, just kind of shuffle your feet, step down onto the swim platform, and then with everything on, ready to go, meaning your mask on, your regulator in your mouth, then you just go ahead and do a giant stride entry in. And what we mean by giant stride is reach out with your leg as far as you can go and just try to step onto St. Thomas, okay?
Okay.
So and then you will splash in the water, and you'll barely go underwater. You'll come right back to the surface.
This is Little St. James, nice little privately owned island by a man who likes to dabble in the stock market. He's, as you can see, he's put in his own beach. Nice little cow. It's fake. But very nice ledges on the other side of the island, which we're going to be diving, where lobsters, eels like to hang out and play. A couple of nurse sharks every once in a while. So this is Little St. James. We've got Greater St. James over here, and cow and calf off in the distance. Really, really nice dive site right here. The gentleman owns the island, but he doesn't own the water, so we get privileged to dive. The diving's absolutely amazing. Like I said, there's a nice little ledge system just on the other side. And so a lot of reef fish like to hide underneath the ledges, and at night they all come out and play and feed. So we get a lot of puffer fish, lobsters, eels, surgeon majors. We get a lot of marine life out here. We're gonna head just around the point here to around the west side of the island and tie up to a mooring, go down the mooring line and see what we can find under the water.
Now I'm definitely excited. Let's gear up and do some diving.
And now the mask.
Oh boy, I must admit, although I've done this before, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right about now. The truth is, I'm not really a water person.
You got it.
The gear is on and it's time to dive in. Wait, did I mention I'm not a water person?
How do we do it? When I say 3, I just want you to stand up. I'll do most of the work for you, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
I'm so happy.
Oh, I got you. Almost handcuffed you off the side.
Okay.
Okay, get your sea legs.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, take a left.
And on the count of 3,
Don't cross your skis.
you're gonna walk right behind her.
Okay, you're gonna walk right to the back. Just shuffle like a duck. And when you're ready, I want you to look out at St. Thomas right out there and take a big leap of faith.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Good job, you alright?
Okay, now I'm extremely nervous. I'm not sure if this is gonna happen today. So I made it to the seafloor, but this doesn't last too long. Today is just not my day to dive. So instead, Rashawn, one of our crew members, will step up and fill in for me. Led by Forrest, Rashawn immediately sees why this area is so special to divers. The seafloor is teeming with vibrant colors of fish and corals. Okay, either Forrest has a tummy ache or he sees something he likes to eat. Oh, in that case, that makes two of us. Well, I know sea eggs are a delicacy in some cultures, but I think Forrest just wants to be friends with this little fella. As you can see, Rashawn wants no part of it. However, with a little encouragement, he learns the sea egg won't stick him, but simply stick to his hand. Here's another lobster. And these things are sea anemones. They're absolutely beautiful. Anemones are predatory sea dwellings named after the anemone flower. There are several types of sea anemones. Many of them feed on small fish and shrimp, which they capture using their tentacles. As Forrest mentioned earlier, the shelf formations formed by the corals are great places to see schools of fish. Rashawn and Forrest seem to have come upon something under this shelf. Hey, I know this fella. It's a spotted drumfish. Here's a fun fact. Spotted drums are one of 275 species belonging to the same family. It is one of 3 that actually live in coral reefs. The underwater life in this area is absolutely spectacular. It seems that the guys have found a spider crab. The spider crab family consists of 700 marine species of crabs. They fall under the class Crustacea. They're scavengers of dead flesh. Dead starfish and mollusks are a part of their diet. Spider crabs can be found in the Atlantic as well as the Pacific regions. Many inhabit rocky areas while some prefer muddy regions.
hey, we got to Little St. James, and we just got up from a dive. We were under for almost an hour, and we were swimming down there with seeing all kinds of fish. We saw schooling French grunts. We saw a couple of lobsters, and then Rashawn pointed out a crab at the end. That was really cool on the way back, a big clinging crab underneath the ledge. We got some really nice experience looking at the coralomorphs, which are like anemones, very colorful, like little pods and pads of all these purple and green colored things. They were great. We saw a school of blue tangs, and we swam along with the blue tangs, and that was pretty cool. A lot of fish down there. Then we got to this one part where there were a bunch of schoolmasters and French grunts underneath the ledge. This place is called the Ledges of Little St. James. There's lots of ledges, and that's where all the fish seem to hang out. They like the shade. So we saw a lot of French grunts that were yellow and white striped. And they're one of the bigger fish down there. They were probably about that big, that tall, and they're yellowish, mostly yellow, a little bit white. They call them schoolmasters because they always hang out together in groups.
The highlight today was getting the opportunity to touch a sea egg. When you put it in your hand, if you let it sit for a while, it sucks onto your hand. You could actually flip your hand over and it'll stay there for a while. It looks like it's prickly, so I was kind of timid in touching it. But under the advisement of my sea director, it was okay after touching it.
Those people that have never tried scuba diving or seen the stuff that we just saw, it's an entirely different world under there. It's very colorful, it's very psychedelic and really weird. Like you mentioned, the textures of things, like you might look at something and think that it's going to be soft to touch, only to find out that it's really hard, and other things you think are going to be really hard end up being soft. And so it's unlike anything on the planet or anything on land. Underwater, there's so many colors, and the fish are so just dynamic with all their different colors and everything and the patterns. That's what I think. I've dove many places around the world, but I've lived in the Caribbean now for about 25 years. Interestingly enough, every place has its own like special assemblage of the different marine organisms, whether they're coral, fish, or creatures. But one of the things that I find in the U.S. Virgin Islands is just so many of our reefs here are shallow in St. John and St. Thomas that we have a lot of sunlight, a lot of color, especially on the underside of ledges where the sun doesn't shine. That's where the really colorful encrusting sponges that are red, orange, yellow. So we have a lot of warm colored creatures, coral I should say, and that makes it really colorful.
If you've never done this before, you should definitely come out and do this. This is just a totally different world. It's just amazing.
So I couldn't let Rashawn have all the fun, so I'm gonna do something a little bit more my speed, which is snorkeling in one of the top 10 beaches in the world, Trunk Bay.
Trunk Bay is probably the most visited beach in all of the Virgin Islands. Megan's Bay may be right up there as well, but I think in terms of overall people, Trunk Bay is one of the most popular beaches, certainly, and it's been also named by National Geographic magazine as one of the 10 most beautiful beaches in the world. It is a very beautiful beach, a nice sheltered bay for the most part. Has an underwater snorkeling trail, which is quite unique. One of the first ones ever to be developed, where you swim above plaques that are down at the bottom in 10 feet of water. It's a natural preserve where no fishing is allowed as well.
I'm joined once again by Steve, who will be leading us through the trail. But before we do that, I'm just going to enjoy this water just a little bit. Trunk Bay is about 2.5 miles northeast of Cruz Bay, one of the two main towns on St. John. It is the only beach in the national park where visitors have to pay a fee to enter. But believe me, it's definitely worth it. There's no question why this beach is so popular. It's gorgeous. The fluffy white sand, the palm trees in the distance, and of course, the crystal clear water. Okay, it's time to go on the trail. We're in about 6 to 9 feet of water, and although we're not scuba diving, there are still some interesting things to see. And what's even better, there are signs to lead you along the trail. Oh, how cute! Again, people from all over the world come to St. John to swim at Trunk Bay and snorkel the trail. It's a small trail, but the underwater scenery definitely makes up for its size.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. The colors underneath the water are incredible. I hope you guys had just as much fun as I did on this episode of Rediscover St. John. Until next time, always remember to cherish your home, this beautiful island, but most of all, cherish each other.
Rediscover St. John is underwritten in part by Keneal Bay, a Rosewood resort.